Something completely different. And this is what it does. It brings together the human way of thinking and living with the machine. It's a convergence, bringing together the human way of doing things and the machine way of doing things. This is no problem when it's about work or software. So if you're using Microsoft Copilot or SAP HANA or Salesforce, these are practical software things. But when it's about creation, it becomes very personal because it's about value, about trust. A lot of people feel like when they're reading something that is done by an AI, that is a cheaper quality. It's a lower quality. It's not worth their time. The other day, I read a book on Amazon, on Kindle, and there was something strange about the book. And I realized that this book was created by AI. And then I looked at the author and I could see that there's another 4,000 books that the author had created with AI. And I felt cheated. Like I spent my time on something that's not worth the time. This is a very big issue when it's about art or about creativity. How do we value it? So machines are binary, zeros and ones. A chatbot completes the sentence based on probability. So you have 1 trillion combinations of sentences and words, and the chatbot knows what the next word should be based on mathematics. Humans don't work that way. You think about your boyfriend or your husband or your wife, you don't pull up the JPEG here. It's not how we do things. It's much more complex. We have intelligence that is like a dozen different things. For example, emotional intelligence. We understand there's a conflict. We understand that somebody is evil or good, and we can perceive somebody. You meet somebody at the airport in 0.4 seconds without saying a single word. Is that person a threat, a nice person, a bad person? That's the kind of intelligence that we have because we have a body. We are embodied intelligence. We have not even defined yet very well what human intelligence is. There are lots of open questions about consciousness and why we are different than machines. There are a lot of people in Silicon Valley and also in China who are saying that humans are essentially like machines, but really fancy, complicated machines. I don't believe that. I think there's something else to us. Call it the spirit or whatever you want to call it, something that is beyond mathematics. But this is a very, very big topic when we're talking about creation, where these two things are intertwining. Intelligence is the ability to solve problems. Machines can have intelligence. They can solve problems. They can look at data. They can give advice. They can drive a car, fly an airplane, do a translation. Limited intelligence. Consciousness, the ability to experience, to feel. Machines don't have consciousness, and we don't want them to have consciousness, I don't think. But to create, you must have consciousness. You must have emotions. Imagine a creator that is completely devoid of feeling, that is using a simulation to feel. It could still be good, parenthesis, but it would not be as good as if he had actual emotions. I think existence is a big part of creativity. That's why I always say we should use artificial intelligence and machines to help us create, not to overtake the creation. This is how we feel, right? We don't think with the body. You always think that you think with the body and you create with the brain. We think with the body, not the brain. The body is what creates everything. The brain is part of the body. Every therapist will tell you, especially in Eastern medicine, that this is all connected. There's not a separate process that is the body and then the brain, right? They're all together. Very hard for a machine to make this match. So Demis Hassabis, he says AI is computer systems that turn information and data into knowledge. If a machine can turn data into knowledge, what happens to our knowledge? When you go to school, you learn all that stuff. Is it still useful? Memorize everything? I think it is, but maybe all the knowledge of the world is in here. I can just grab it, explain South Korean politics to me. Boom. It's already possible. I have a chatbot on my website where you can go in and you can ask the GERD bot to explain things to you like I would. And it does pretty good. And you can make a video with what the bot says that I would say. So Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI.
In particular, the two trends I'm most excited about for the next decade or couple of decades are abundant intelligence and abundant energy. And the prosperity that we're going to get from these two things that are unlocking.
Okay, this should shake you, right? Abundant intelligence, endless intelligence, and endless energy. Endless energy would be nuclear fusion. I know in this country there's lots of contributions to nuclear fusion, which is a reactor that's like the sun. It's not nuclear fission, like a bomb. It's the opposite. In 10, 15 years, we'll have a machine, a reactor that creates energy in a clean way that's essentially unlimited. 10, 15 years. That will change everything. But before that, we're going to have a machine that has the knowledge of the world in every language, in real time, available on demand. Every movie, every podcast, every language, every book, everything you've ever said. Very scary. Could also be very good because using that knowledge, we can create new things. For example, we can solve cancer because now we can run experiments using 1 trillion genomes to figure out how we can solve cancer. Now, Eric Schmidt, who was the CEO of Google, he goes even further.
The eventual state of this is the computers running all business processes, right? So you have an agent to do this, 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 and you concatenate them together, and they speak language among each other. So when I look at this future, I want to be clear that the arrival of this intelligence, both at the AI level, the AGI, which is general intelligence, and then super intelligence, is the most important thing that's going to happen in about 500 years, maybe 1,000 years in human society, and it's happening in our lifetime. So don't screw it up.
Important point. The invention of AI is kind of like the invention of fire. It's big for us. But it's a powerful tool. We need to figure out what the rules are. Who is in charge? What's good? What's bad? Artificial general intelligence is high autonomy, high generality, and high intelligence. It's a machine that can beat humans in every step of the way for 98% of all applicable jobs. It's like a robot with 100,000 PhDs. That's what these companies are building. If that happens, people estimate 5, maybe 10 years, it's the end of work. We don't have to work anymore. On the left, you have the economic output. Clearly, we would have a lot more output from the economy. But on the right, you see the jobs going towards zero. Why would you pay a human if the machine can?